Oh, yes. It's a Monday. Happy Monday! And don't you worry. I'm on my way. Woo! Yeah, baby! Oh, yeah, feeling good. What's up, everybody? And welcome to your Monday stream. Welcome to your Monday show. On my way to Nerdvengers Tower. And I've got a feeling that today's going to be wild. Today's going to be spicy. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a really good stream. Entertainment. Shock. Intrigue. Sweat, blood, tears. All that and more. Coming up shortly. We've got to talk about Shazam 2. Setting records. But not the good kind. We've got to talk about the Dungeons and Dragons movie getting a ton of buzz. Oh my god, it's gonna make $1 billion. I fucking told you! We gotta talk about Zack Snyder. That's right, I'm doing a full hour on Zack Snyder. Why Rebel Moon's gonna be titties! And why we all should be very, very excited about it. And there's more. Believe it or not, there's more. I'm pulling into the tower. I'll see you in a second. Oh, hey, Chet. How you doing? Chet, there better not be gambling going on. That's all I'm saying. You better get that shit under control. Okay, thank you. Thank you for killing that. Yeah. Guys, can I ask you guys a question? So, why aren't, because, like, we're obviously... what the fuck, Chet? I'm already in the goddamn tower. You can't play that shit again. I'm already in here. Okay, so we're obviously a pretty tight-knit community. We're borderline a family. So why aren't there more people? Like, Monday morning, okay, Chet, he accidentally left the gambling section open. Everybody's going to the slot machines. So why aren't there more people over there being like, hey, no, that's only for Fridays. Don't gamble. Hey, you there, don't do that. Where's the, like, what is it, like the neighborhood watch? Like, what's up with that? Why don't we have like a neighborhood watch? Why aren't you letting us win? No comment. No comment. You know what I should do? Ooh, this would be so shady. Like, yo, this would be kind of slimy, okay? But I want you to think about this. Keep this in mind. And first of all, of course, Q Coletti, welcome to the Nerdvengers. You are a Nerdventure now. What if I accidentally leave the gambling on next Monday, but I make it so every single roll you lose? Like, you have to get a 99 to win. And what if you guys, like, come in and you're like, oh, okay, like, here we go, let's get a couple gambles in, and then all your nerd coin gone. Okay, think about that. Yeah, think about that, because I am, and I just came up with the idea, but I think it's pretty brilliant. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Be sure to smash a mother flippin' like on this video. It helps the channel out. It helps the algorithms. Whatever. Just do that. And also subscribe to the channel. I know it's annoying if you don't have a YouTube account or if you're on a device and you're not logged in. But I don't make the rules. And in order for us to have way more hyped up streams, way more fun, and to spread the Nerdventure message and to get everyone feeling the vibes, you got to subscribe to the channel. That's just how it works. So feel free to do that. Also, chat, let me know, how was the weekend for you guys? How you guys feeling? I got to tell you, I'm feeling so damn good. I'm feeling really good. Good night rest, had a nice relaxing weekend, got some stuff done. I feel like I've got a lot ahead of me today on Monday, but have the energy to do it, and I'm feeling pretty good. How are you guys? How was the weekend for you? I'm not liking after you dad lectured me. Okay, I'm sorry. You're right, Mas. You get a pass, though. Had a great... Did it clean your sinuses this weekend? You tell me. Had a hair of the dog Saturday? What the hell's that mean? Down 35 pounds? Damn! That's a lot. Good for you. Watched a bootleg of Shazam, and I think you probably still felt like you overpaid. Your girl's pregnant? You're having a nerd baby? Let's go. That's good. Too much pollen here in Virginia? That's rough. Hanging in there, hoping the week will be better. Right on. Young Jedi Adventures watch party? Probably not, dude. Probably not. What's up, Star Wars Sith? What's up, little man? Won 500 on the Saturday Night Fights. Nice. Also, guys, last Monday, everybody was real quick to be like, hey, what about that fight? What about the fight? And then the week before, everybody was like, hey, what about that fight? You got that one wrong. Where's the love? Where's the love today? I told you Leon was going to get it done. I told you. Crazy good night of fights, though. And I think, look, here's my take. Here's my take on the Usman thing. And I want to know what you guys think, okay? And we won't linger on this too long because I know some of you guys are like, dude, fights and stuff. I want to talk about nerdy shit. And I get it. But here's what I'm saying. To me, it felt like a dominant performance. I felt like Usman was expending way too much energy. He was he had this weird atmosphere about him, okay? Two really interesting examples. If you look at the last time Usman fought Colby Covington, incredibly disciplined. He understood how well coached Colby was. He was trying to be hesitant, reserved, really careful with his movements. And that was one of the best I've ever seen Usman. Even though that fight wasn't necessarily as entertaining, it showed me high fight IQ. Wow, this dude's really, really impressive. Reminded me of the second Diaz-Conor fight. Because Conor fought kind of low-key, like a bitch. Literally would walk away from him and do stuff like that. But he also fought the most intelligent fight possible, considering the matchup, and the fight he needed to win. But on Saturday, Usman was all over the place, expending so much energy. At one point, Herb Dean literally looks over to him and he's like, you good? Because it was that weird. He was that weird, always trying to run up on him, all this other stuff. And yet at the same time, really, you could tell he was thinking about that leg kick the entire fight. Okay? So, to me, and look, I got a lot of respect for both men, but if I was Leon, I would never fight Usman again. The only way I would fight Usman again is if he ran through a ton of tough fights in the division to get back to where he's at. But yeah, I mean, that just might be it for Usman. It's crazy. It's crazy sport because I think 2 years ago you had three either all Nigerian or all African champions. You had the heavyweight, middleweight, and I forget the other one, but you had all of them. It was Kumaro, Israel, and big boy Ngannou, and they are all done. They are all gone. Now, Israel has a pretty good chance with Pereira in the next fight, but he's got to fight like a bitch. He's got to fight like Conor did in Diaz 2. He cannot stand in the pocket and just do what he normally does with Pereira. Pereira will destroy him. So it's a fascinating sport. It's fascinating to watch the rise and fall of these people. But I really feel like the confidence from Leon, there were even just small shots that he was landing that it literally felt like he was Ultra Instinct Goku. Kamar would come in, boom, just get a couple shots like that. It's crazy. So hats off to Leon. I think he's going to end up being a great champion. If he can keep that mentality, reminds me a lot of Charles Oliveira when he went on his run and he just felt unbeatable. And by the way, I think Charles won that last fight. Well, I guess he got choked out, but he was winning that fight, right? So fascinating sport. Hats off to Leon. And I think he'll go forward and be a great champion. But if I were him, I would never fight Usman again. Why? Why would you? Like, I think you dominated him in the last fight. So, ebbs and flows. Very interesting sport. Really, really cool. So, anyway, let's get into the nerdy stuff while you guys are all really here. Most of you guys are like, bro, we hate your UFC takes. We hate your UFC takes. I'm sorry. Sorry. What do I think of Justin? Justin's a bad motherfucker, man. He's like the baddest. Justin Gaethje, in like every fight I've seen him in, and Dustin has this, Poirier has this as well. Bro, it will look like from the outside that they're taking all these shots and like giving shots as well. But then you look at their face and you look at the face of the other person. It's crazy, dude. That young guy that fought Dustin, incredible. In the first round, I was like, damn, like that is scary. Like speed, power, picking his shots. And literally, he just weathers the storm and just beats the shit out of him, dude. Like Justin, like, is that guy. It's crazy that he hasn't got another title shot. I mean, maybe that's the way he's sort of positioning himself. But yeah, it's a pleasure. I'll think back, like when I'm a real old fart. I'll just look back and be grateful to have been able to be a fan in like this era, because it's been fascinating, man. I love, like, you know, the Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, you know, the Ken Shamrock. I love all the different eras, but we're in an era right now that's like, damn, bro, like the talent is crazy. Because I think that guy beats the guy that fought Justin. I think he beats, with that performance, he beats every fighter in his division except maybe two. And he just happened to be fighting one of those guys. Crazy. So, great night of fights. Absolutely. Okay. Anyway, before I get distracted by another comment, let's get into... Oh, you know what? Actually, let's do a little bit of show notes. I want to talk show notes first, okay? So, first up, tomorrow, 11 a.m., we're doing a Nerd Avengers stream. And I know we haven't done a lot of call-ins lately on, like, Friday streams and whatnot. So tomorrow, for the Nerd Avengers stream, I would like to do a like sort of town hall, like a stage where like people come on, just, you know, whatever you want to talk about. You got any questions for me? You got any comments about the content or anything? Come on by. So that's what I want to do tomorrow at 11. If you are a Nerd Avenger member, we'll go live. I'll open up a Discord stage. I want to talk to like as many of you guys as I can in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that'll be really, really cool. Come on by for a member. Also, this Friday, I want to do a Diamond Lounge stream. We haven't done one in a while. I think we gotta have a few drinks, have a few smokes. Let's talk about the craziness of the world. So that should be fun. So look out for that. I'm thinking like 7 p.m. Friday night, Eastern Standard Time. So that should be really, really cool. I know we've got some new Diamond members that are probably going to be pretty excited to be in there. So that's going to be great. Yes, and that's, yes, for sure. 6 o'clock. This is another thing I want to tell you guys about. 6 o'clock on Thursday at night, I'm going to go on Kendall's channel, which I think he changed. It's no longer Normies to Nerds, right? Kendall, remind me of the channel name. Because I remember you saying you made it into your gamer tag. I just don't remember it offhand. King Coonch? Something like that? But regardless, I'm going to be over on Kendall's channel. And we are going to be talking about the multiverse. We're going to go deep. Last week, I think it was on Monday, I did that part of the stream where I broke down what I think was going on with Kang, the multiverse, Secret Wars, etc. King Coonch. 5 p.m. Like I said, 5 p.m. We'll be live Thursday night. That's going to be sick, dude. I'm excited. Kendall, obviously sweaty, knows what he's talking about. He doesn't agree with some of the takes I have as far as what's going on with Kang. So it'll be really interesting to kind of, I don't want to say necessarily debate it, but more like, you know, just shoot the shit. You know, he'll bring up his points. I'll bring up my points. I think it's going to be fascinating. And I'm pretty excited for that. So that should be great. That should be really, really great. Okay. So, should we begin by talking about Shazam? 2. How about this? Thanks, Trin. Appreciate that. That's the link to Kendall's channel right there. Okay, here's the question, guys. Did you go see Shazam 2 this weekend? Put a 1 into the chat if you did. Put a 1. Ooh, I just realized I got to do a thing here, too. Put a 1 into the chat if you did. And I gotta fix a thing real quick, guys. I think about there will work. Just trying to get this position there. Okay, let's see. We got a couple ones. We got a couple people that went in there. Really, really interesting. Shazam came out. Yeah, might as well not have, to be honest. Okay, this is going to take us into some really interesting places, but Shazam! Fury of the Gods has earned $65.5 million worldwide in its opening weekend. When I first saw that number, I thought, well, that's not bad for domestic, right? Because we're about to applaud John Wick 4 for getting either close to or at 70 million next weekend. So I'm like, okay, you know, John Wick 4, yeah, this is decent. Guys, that's world fucking wide. The movie made $30.5 million domestic in its opening weekend. It is a bomb worse than Morbius. It is literally making less money and tracking worse than Morbius, The Living. What the fuck are they doing? Like, crazy. 40% less than what the first movie made? Holy shit, dude. It's real bad. An absolute stinker. It's more than 50% less worldwide than what the first movie made. It is like so bad that it's almost, key word here, almost not worth talking about. Because literally people don't even like know that the movie came out. People don't give a fuck about this movie, and it's had a lot of really interesting ramifications in the fandom and of course on social media. A lot of people bringing up the tweet and the statement that Zachary Levi made where he said, he's like kind of asked about it, and he said, well, it kind of depends on what the box office is for Shazam, but I could see myself sticking around. Do you guys remember when James Gunn did the video from his mom's basement and tried to explain his new slate, but somehow started by like talking about Shazam and all of these different movies like that? Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? Like, this dude had the gall and the audacity to come out and be like, well, Shazam's always been in its own little pocket of the universe, so it's safe. It'll be fine. Wow. Insanity. And I told you guys then, I was like, dude, this is a goobly glob bullshit video with not any production, not a lot of forethought, and he's literally waffling, trying to convince you while announcing the new universe that all the movies that are coming out for the company that he now runs are still important and valuable. Holy shit. And the audience said, nah, fam, we're good. Now, another thing that's kind of interesting about this, and I asked about this on Twitter. We got a ton of responses here, so I want to kind of get into this a little bit here, okay? Do you think that the James Gunn DCU reboot, soft or not, has led to Shazam 2 bombing? And I'll put a poll up into the chat, and I want to kind of be specific about the poll to see where you guys are at with this, okay? Do you think the DCU reboot is the main reason Shazam 2 is bombing? I'm asking you if you think it's the main reason, because there are, of course, a lot of different factors here, but is it the main reason? That's what I want to know from you, okay? We got some interesting responses here. Jason, friend of the channel, says Shazam 2 existing led to Shazam 2 bombing. By that, I mean, it's not an interesting property. Sequel should have had Black Adam in it. That is an interesting take. This is something that I think David Sandberg, that's the director's name, I believe, right? That's something he has echoed as well. A couple of really crazy statements. He even said on Reddit that he could see where all of this was going a long time ago, and he got paid up front. It was kind of fucking based, to be honest with you. Like, it was kind of based. And he's also been out there talking about how Shazam and Black Adam should have fought. And it's weird because if you look at Shazam 2 and you look at Black Adam, and I think really especially Black Adam, they're both movies that kind of set up the next movie, which we all know will be way better. Like, a lot of people had the take that had Shazam or had Black Adam actually been Black Adam versus Superman with Henry Cavill, it would have been it would have been huge. You know what I mean? It would have been huge. And I agree with that. And by the way, The Rock agrees with that. And how do I know that? Well, that's because he went through hell and high water to get that to be set up for the next fucking movie. Everybody knows that. And similarly with Shazam, of course, Shazam interacting with the other members of the Justice League, having like crazier, better villains, would be better. So I like Jason's response here. I like it. I think it's going to lead to every DC movie underperforming this year. Now, I actually agree with that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about The Flash in a little bit here because I'm getting on my Lex Luthor shit with this movie. And I feel, a little bit of a spoiler alert here, I am starting to feel that no matter how good The Flash is, no matter how many times Tom Cruise tells me it's must watch, that I'm not going to go see that movie in the theaters. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Barry here, who always hates my Star Wars takes and probably was shitting on me for the Rebel Moon stuff that I said. He says, I think they announced it too soon, yeah? They should have announced their movies, but calling it a reboot right away was a mistake. Dude, 100%. Like, yeah, definitely. Okay, here's a really interesting one here. I don't think the general audience know much about the upcoming reboot, but Levi, etc., potentially getting rebooted and recast may have put a few comic book Twitter members off. I don't know. I think Shazam 2 box office is a reflection of how bad Warner Brothers marketed and released the film. That is really interesting. That is really interesting because this is an argument that I see a lot of people making about like the normies and the sweaties. And I agree there are certain things that normies just don't get or aren't up on. But I think when it comes to comic book movies, I believe there are a lot more informed normies than you think. And then even beyond that, I think a lot of normies, like we've got normies that watch this channel, right? We've got normies that watch like, you know, New Rockstars or Paul, and they follow us via social media and things of that nature. I think they get informed about this stuff via sweaty people. So like they're simply looking out to, I guess like you could call them thought leaders in the nerdy entertainment space. And they're trying to see for themselves, like, is it worth it or not? I am curious as to how many of the people, like how many of the casual DC comic book movie fans, how many of them actually know that there's a reboot coming? And I would argue, particularly because of how stupid they've went about announcing this and James Gunn, you know, on Twitter and everything like that, I feel as though a lot of people are aware of what's going on. I actually think most casual moviegoers understand that there is a reboot happening. But that's certainly a take that I think a lot of people had, something I saw. Let's see here. It says, I'd say it's a combo of poor marketing, spoiling cameos. 100% disagree with that particular take. Spoiling cameos does nothing but get more people to go check it out. See Venom 2. You know, it's fucking even Spider-Man. You could argue that the earned media that No Way Home got spoiling big parts of the movie was what made it such a phenomenon. So I disagree with that. The announcement of the reboot, therefore confusing fans and making them wonder why bother. Agree with that. As well as comic book movie fatigue. That are all contributing factors. You know, fascinating to talk about comic book movie fatigue. Do you guys think that there's comic book movie fatigue out there? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. This is crazy. So it's pretty split with you guys. Like 50% of you basically say you think that the reboot is the main reason it bombed, and 50% of you say no. It's slightly leaning towards saying yes. So, oh man, we got to go to the polls on this one, actually. I'm sorry, we got to go to the polls because it's just very close from what I see. Do you think there is comic book movie fatigue? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Pretty interested. Yo, for a hot second there was like 100% yes, and I was like, oh shit! Okay, so it's seemingly like 60% of you. It's pretty split again. It's like 60-40 right now, almost 55. Yeah, we'll see where it shakes out, but it seems like 60% of you say yes. So here's what I think is going on. By the way, Rob Liefeld had a really, I think, poignant tweet about this earlier today that he promptly deleted after a lot of people started like sharing it and being like, yeah, bro, this is it. And I think because he still has a lot of connections to the studios and things of that nature, he was just like, I don't feel comfortable putting that out. What Rob Liefeld said was, you can't judge comic book movie fatigue when you have movies coming out that are like B, C, D level characters. Shazam usually does not have an ongoing series. Black Adam usually does not have an ongoing series. Okay? That's just the nature of the business. If you look at the comic book industry, there's a reason why there's usually multiple Batman books, multiple Superman books, multiple Avengers or Avengers-esque books. You got your Iron Mans, your Wolverines, your X-Men. There's fire-ass characters that have always been the pillars that hold the entire industry up. That's what it is. And so I think we're in this weird, bizarro world when it comes to movies right now. Like, why the fuck is there a Shazam 2? You know, maybe Iger was right. Why is there an Ant-Man 3? Like, why are we doing this? Why are they trying to do Black Adam? You know? It's weird. It's weird. And I think that this applies to both Marvel and DC. Like, why are we focusing on B, C, D tier characters? Why is Feige holding off on the X-Men and Doctor Doom? That seems fucking crazy to me. Like, it seems crazy to me that we're going to get Agatha Coven of Chaos, Wonder Man, Vision Quest, Eternals 2 possibly. Name your other goofy, irrelevant, like who gives a shit character project in the next couple of years before we just jump in and do the X-Men. And my hope, by the way, is that what this year will teach the studios is, yeah, they can't do that anymore. Oh, yeah, Echo. Like, what are we doing here? I think we don't, like, dude, I don't need any of that shit. You know what I mean? So I do wonder, man. I don't think there's comic book movie fatigue, but here's where it gets kind of scary. To a normie, I would argue there's a few characters they know are the big heavy hitters. And by the way, the Infinity Saga made the Avengers that. The Avengers were never that, dude. Iron Man used to be called Shellhead. Okay? They made the Avengers household names. They weren't household names before. And I feel like maybe they got a little bit high on that idea. And they're like, we could do that to everything. They did it with the Guardians of the Galaxy too, to be fair. And you've got Doctor Strange movies making almost $1 billion without China. It's fair. There is something to that with regards to Marvel. But I think they might be taking that attitude and applying it to modern audiences when modern audiences are kind of at a different place than they were 10 years ago. When Iron Man was coming out, when you were watching Batman Begins and shit like that, right? It's just different. The audiences are different. And so I think they really need to go big and they need to go crazy with the actual fun characters that have been popular, that people like. But from a casual perspective, I fear that maybe the casual audience doesn't know really the difference between a B tier character and like a C and D tier character. Like, as an example, Blade, probably B tier. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ever been an A-list character. He starred in some really cool books, had some fun runs, but, like, never been a big deal. That's a B-level character. I would argue Wonder Man, like, C or D. You know? Like, Wonder Man had a great run in the Avengers, like West Coast Avengers. Like, he was really important for a long, long time. But again, what did I just say? The Avengers weren't shit before the MCU. Nobody gave a fuck, dude. So, like, what I begin to worry about is that normies might be able to look at a character like Blade and think, oh, well, that's just like Wonder Man. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Kendall says Blade is an A for black fans. I don't agree with that. I mean, obviously, I'm not a black fan, in case you didn't notice. But I don't agree with that. I would say, like, T'Challa or Luke Cage would be A-list for black fans. They're definitely A-list black characters. T'Challa being number one. But I don't know about Blade. I don't know if I could consider Blade to be... To be fair, he did have movies, very popular movies. So there's like an umph there. There's a little bit more of like a normie, casual, like, you know, appreciation for it. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if they keep doing this, I think that there might not be, like, fans, especially casual fans, might approach every project as though it doesn't really matter and it's not a big deal. They're not going to be able to tell the difference. So I think this is why the sweaties are so important. Because you need to, again, the ending post-credit scene for Avengers 1 is 90% of the audience having zero clue what's going on. And 10% of the people in that theater gasping, shrieking, and freaking out. And then you have the 90% being like, whoa, 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 why did they go crazy for that? Why did that make everybody go ballistic? And then you get the intrigue and you build it in. But without that lightning rod, without the sweaties, without the super nerds being like, oh, shit, I don't think there's any reason for the casuals to be like, yo, what's that oh shit about? You know? So there is comic book movie fatigue. And I think it's kind of being brought on by the fact that they're doing all this stuff that's like ridiculous. Like, you wouldn't even do a solo comic book run on that and expect it to sell well. So why are you making the movies? It's weird, you know? Okay, here we go. Let's keep going here, though. Somebody says, nope. I think the fact that the first one was just all right, the majority of DC films being average at best, is probably a big cause. Fair. 100% yes. So many DC fans have been turned off the movie by his announcements. It's got a lot of likes. 100%. Many unpopular announcements that made not just hardcore fans angry aren't helping the box office. Many don't watch the movie because they say, why should I, when they cancel the franchise? I watched it anyway, but it's obvious how the masses react to Gunn's work. Pretty interesting. Maybe, but it's mostly just that people don't care about Shazam. Ooh, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what the clear answer here is, because I can imagine a scenario like let's put it all out there. Initially, when the reboot is announced, the word coming from a lot of reliable people, this is like your My Time to Shine hellos, your Grace Randolphs, Daniel, was that it's more or less going to be a full reboot, other than like Gunn's stuff, like his wife and his brother and Peacemaker, all his shit. He's keeping all his toys, which again I think is a horrible idea. But here's the thing: if I really thought that Zachary Levi's Shazam may actually survive the reboot and be in the future, I would certainly be more compelled to watch it. Gunn kind of tried to make it seem like that was real, but like, man, I just don't know anybody. I mean, there's like a few people here and there that may be holding on to the idea of that actually happening. To me, it was pretty obvious that that wasn't going to happen, and that we're just saying that to try to save their ass. I think this is probably a combination of a lot of negative PR between the studio of Warner Brothers and the fans. This is via the Snyder stuff. This is the way they protected Ezra. This is just so many different things. So many different things. And on top of that, I think the movie is irrelevant. I also think the villains of the movie, like you go from Mark Strong, Dr. whatever his face was, and like Mark Strong's dope. And those trailers were cool. And he's menacing in that first movie. Dude, I'm sorry, but who gives a shit about some old Greek lady witches that are trying to get the magic back? Like, it's stupid as fuck, bro. And I think focusing on the Shazam family was also a mistake. I think it was a mistake. Like, yeah, sure, you have that. There are comic book runs that have that. That is a thing. It exists. But, like, Shazam, I just think it's cooler if it's just Billy Batson and Shazam on their own struggling. And really, it should be about Black Adam or another crazy magical villain. So I feel like it's like an illy conceived movie. I feel like everybody's just past Warner Brothers bullshit. I feel like the reboot hurt it. I feel like there are a lot of factors that added into this. But if Warner Brothers just hadn't been horrible to their own fans for years, I think more people would be open and willing to check it out. Which brings me to The Flash. And we didn't get to talk about this on Friday because it happened after we got done. Like right after we got done streaming. But I'm sure you guys all saw it because it was ridiculous and got spread around quite a bit. Did you all see the Tom Cruise story? Do you know about the Tom Cruise story? Let me know. Let's settle in. Let's get really, really toxic. So during a week where Ben Affleck basically kicked James Gunn right in the balls, very publicly, during a week where the projections on Shazam 2 looked absolutely awful, guaranteed to lose, I don't know, 100 million. On a Friday, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter, drops a really cool story, bro. That Tom Cruise saw The Flash. Tom Cruise saw The Flash And he said it's a movie the world needs right now. Holy shit. First of all, there's some confusion in the story. I'm not sure what's true or not, but they say in the story that they sent a copy of The Flash to Tom Cruise's house in L.A. He no longer has any houses in L.A., so there's some confusion there. I'm not too caught up on that because maybe he has a residence, maybe he stays at a place, maybe he has something off the books in L.A. You know, there's stuff that we don't know, but it kind of looks like bullshit from the outside looking in. He literally sold 2 houses in L.A., I believe. I don't think he lives there anymore. Regardless of that, Boris Kitt, I believe is the author's name, he claims that Cruise saw the movie, loved the movie, and said it's a movie the world needs right now. Okay? And you know what that made me want to do? Do you know what that made me want to do? It made me want to not watch the movie. Because, and let me explain why. Because it feels so weird and desperate. And if you've been following Warner Brothers the way I've been following Warner Brothers over the past couple of years, you know they were so fucking broke last year. They could only afford to release and market 2 movies in the back half of the year. Both of them bombed. You could make the case that maybe Black Adam isn't a total and complete bomb, but it bombed. And don't worry, darling. Wow. What an embarrassment. Now going into this year, they're going to eat a big lunch on Shazam 2. This is like a fucking all-time great bomb. Aquaman 2. The buzz on Aquaman 2 is that the movie is so shit that people are walking out of screenings. Okay? Walking out of screenings. Like, I know I'm here and, you know, this is nice and the amenities are great and you're asking my opinion, whatever. I can't fucking do it. I'm out. Literally that. And Warner Brothers is so desperate. They need The Flash to make money so badly that they're trying to get some fucking Top Gun Maverick association. And look, apparently the buzz on the movie, like, I'm not going to front. The buzz on the movie is incredible. It might be one of the best comic book movies of all time. However, I can't help but feel like this is a special moment in time where if the fans just rejected this movie and really just rejected supporting the movie, Warner Brothers is going to be hurt in a way that, frankly, I want. That, frankly, I'm so I'm bloodthirsty to shank this fucking out-of-touch studio full of Hollywood elites. And I think we've somehow gotten to a place where we have this very unique opportunity to hurt them so bad. So bad. And even though I love Michael Keaton, and I love the fact that you're going back to Zod and all these different things, there's so much that I'm excited about it. I gotta be honest with you, I fucking hate Warner Brothers so much. Like, no cap. Like, this is just me speaking. It's not cap. I fucking hate them so much that I might just wait for streaming just to try to fuck them over as badly as I possibly can. They've put all their eggs into the Flash basket. And I say we take that basket, we turn it to the right, and we punt it into the street. And so I'm not 100% on this, okay? I might change my mind tomorrow. But I am considering not seeing The Flash and also making a video that literally says you should not watch The Flash. And here's why. And going over multiple reasons and basically spelling it out there and saying like, yo, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck this movie, fuck Ezra. No thanks, fam. Pack it up. Go home, Roger. Get out of my face. Thoughts? Thoughts? What do you think? I just want to know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What do you think? Frog Eater says, don't do it, Josh. Don't be the bad guy again. Well, that's just it, isn't it? Maybe I already am. Chaos is a ladder? Yes. I can't watch Wonder Woman since they took Amber Heard's side against Johnny Depp. It's gross. Dude, they have a laundry list. They have so many reasons that fans hate them that I kind of forget about them. I forgot about the Amber Heard shit. That's also wild. That's also wild. Like, they have literally fucked up about as bad as you can. They are the studio that I think solely exists to make it so that when we look at Lucasfilm, we're like, well, at least it's not as bad as Warner Brothers. You know? Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine if the Flash bombs, dude? Oh! It would be so fucking satisfying! Oh, so good. So good, bro. Darian, that's a good point. Remember when we celebrated the Flash trailer and you said, who cares? You just hit a couple girls with chairs. Where's that energy? That's true. After I saw that first trailer, I was like, damn, bro. Like, you know, people, let's forgive. Let's move on. That trailer was fire. It was that good. But I gotta say, there's something about, like, Zachary Levi fucking skiing in the Alps with Peter Safran. And then he came out. Remember, he came out with this energy where he was like, I hear all this bullshit. And I want to say something, not because I want to fight with internet trolls, but because I care about truth. I care about justice. And I just wanted to be like, shut the fuck up, Zachary Levi, you out-of-touch imbecile. What the fuck are you talking about? Gassing up the guy that literally already fired you? Like, oh my God, it's just all so gross and stupid and silly. Holy shit. Just let him cook. He knows comic book character. Yeah, he also knows how to prematurely, out of narcissism, explain his plans for the DCU, which undermine 3 separate movies that are coming out. And he can do all the wibbly-wob, gloobly-glob bullshit talk that he wants. It seems like people are seeing right through that shit. Right through it. So I'm leaning towards fuck him. Gotta be honest with you. I'm leaning towards fuck him. What do you think, chat? Talk me off the ledge. Talk me off of this ledge of toxicity. What do you think? Am I going crazy? Am I out of pocket? Why not announce the Gunverse after the last 3 DC movies? Dude, Daniel Griffin with the $1 million question. I mean, honestly, why not? You're tripping, dog? No, I don't think I will talk you off that ledge. Okay, thanks, Craig. Do a flip. You're a hot pocket. Oh, thanks, man. I agree. I mean, it just feels like, you know, all the bullshit. All the bullshit. I'm just kind of fucking sick of it, dude. You know? Like, you know a studio has really messed up when a guy that runs a channel called The Den of Nerds is thinking about not going to see or supporting perhaps the greatest comic book movie of our generation simply because I want to hurt the studio as badly as I can. It is not even a so they've done like some like polls, right, about like people in the satisfaction of their jobs in America. Really interesting polls. A lot of people are unsatisfied, but there are some people, and it's actually surprisingly a large amount of folks, that are not just unsatisfied, but are actively working to undermine the place they work. Like Fight Club. there's a large group of people. And so, like, you can push people into, you know, not liking, being apathetic, having questions. But when you push consumers to have actual zeal and vigor for hurting you, for actually undermining you, how on earth, like, how is that? That's not a winning strategy, dude. My God. So, we'll table that for now. We'll talk more about it. I might work on the video. Maybe we'll even talk about it tomorrow on the Nerdvenger stream when we all kind of get together, right? And maybe we just won't. I gotta be honest with you. I don't think it really changes my year or affects like a lot of what I'm doing at all. Like, as far as the main content and even the streams, like, I'm really focused on, like, I have videos coming that I'm working on about the Daredevil show and this huge list of details about the Daredevil show and why I think it's going to be a really big deal. Talking about Battle World, how Battle World's going to have multiple projects and be really awesome. There's just a lot of stuff that, like, when it comes to Marvel, and even when it comes to Star Wars, right? Like, the episode this week's called The Foundling. We're probably going to talk about this on Nerd Theory. Grogu type shit. You've got Carl Weathers directing, co-written by Dave Filoni, and the episode's called The Foundling. Like, we're about to get probably the Grogu flashback, you know? Like, there's a lot of stuff I'm really excited about. We don't even really do a lot of Warner Brothers stuff, and when we do, it doesn't really pop on the channel, so it's not going to really affect me at all to just ignore The Flash. The Flash also doesn't matter in the DCU. That's another thing. And to be honest with you, despite all of my feelings towards James Gunn, I'm going to at least try to give the DCU a fair shake. Because it hopefully could be new. It could actually fix a lot of the problems. Maybe the PR will get better. I don't know. But with regards to the Flash movie and the current leadership of Warner Brothers is just... You know, and I think that it's really interesting, like Peter Safran, right? He was a part of the old leadership. He's very anti-Snyder Cut. He's very much of that ilk that tried to do Snyder and the fans really dirty. And the word is that Zaslav didn't want shit to do with Gunn. He actually approached Peter, the last person he approached for the job. And I think Peter understood, if I just do this, I will be the target of all of this hate and you know, all these bots and all of this energy because of the Zack Snyder stuff. So we need James Gunn, because it was Safran who said, let's do it with James Gunn. And Peter Safran has been real fucking chill. Like, he hasn't really said shit. He doesn't really, like, do the interviews. He doesn't go on the stage. He didn't do the video in James Gunn's mom's basement, which is smart. And so he kind of brought in Gunn, I think, to be the face, the actual target of a lot of that stuff. But it is kind of wild that, like, that's what it came to. I mean, Zaslav's like trying to get Kevin Feige. Like, he literally was trying to get Kevin Feige. It's weird, man. It is a very weird time right now. And man, you know what would really help the DCU? If James Gunn got off Twitter for the rest of ever. There's an idea. Maybe you wouldn't get caught in massive stories where Ben Affleck debunks your ass if you just stayed the fuck off Twitter. Because you're giving fans experiences, memories that then they will look back to and recall when it's time to check out your new stuff. It's horrible. Horrible idea. So, anyways... Long story short, I love the DC characters, but Warner Brothers, they get no love from me. So the saltiness is immeasurable. Maybe. I'd say it's probably 10 out of 10. Okay, a couple other things we got to talk about. Let's shift in to talking about Zack mother-loving Snyder. That's right, I said what I said. I said what I said. And we've got to talk about Rebel Moon. By the way, let me just ask you guys this question. Where is your hype level for Rebel Moon? Long shirt story? Exactly. Snyder Talk, I'm out. See you later, Brendan. See ya. Kendall put a 3 into the chat? Kendall, are you just trying to, like, just spice up this Thursday stream? Like, are you trying to build it like a UFC fight? Like me and Kendall on opposite sides of the press conference? And I'm like, yo, Rebel Moon about to be real hype. Kendall's like, 3 out of 10 hype level. And just puts his mic down. Okay, so we got some people pretty excited for it. A lot of mid-tier, though. Some low tiers. Yeah, so, okay. Let me, again, try to explain what I think's going on and try to explain why I'm so excited and so hyped up for Rebel Moon. Because there actually were a lot of really interesting things dropped about Rebel Moon from Zack Snyder over the weekend. Okay, so we got to get into that. But let me just explain it to you again. Okay, so open up your ear holes. Open up your ear holes. Pause. Metal says, "Can I get a happy belated for Sam, my wife? Happy belated birthday to you, Sam. It seems like you got a good guy. So I hope you had a good birthday." Okay, let me explain it to you guys. Zack Snyder, who Warner Brothers betrayed and shit on, and then allowed him to make his movie, but fought him tooth and nail the entire way. He had to go shoot stuff in his driveway to actually make the movie really dope, and he still created the best piece of DC content in the last 10 years in an incredible 4-hour cut that Warner Brothers tried to act like wasn't successful or wasn't loved by fans. That guy, he pitched a Star Wars movie. Okay? So he came into Kathleen Kennedy's office, which, by the way, I just had a thought of like what that office probably smells like. And I'm going to go with cat urine. And so he came into stinky Kathleen Kennedy's office and he pitched her. He said, "Hey, I'm Zack Snyder. I have this really big fan base. I make really beautiful movies. Maybe you've heard of me. Hello. So I have an idea, Kathleen, to do something incredibly fresh with the Star Wars IP. It seems like you guys keep going for member berries and nostalgia juice, which honestly has a half-life. So what if we did something crazy and we did a remake or a retelling of the Seven Samurai story within the Star Wars universe, and you can put on the marquee and you can put out on the thing when you come out onto the stage on Celebration. Zack Snyder directed Seven Samurai Star Wars movie. Okay? And she said, "You're a white man. I don't know why I took this meeting. Get the fuck out of here, Zack." She rejected the pitch. But Zack, being the very savvy filmmaker and businessman that he is, and also you got to give credit to his wife. They're a incredible 1-2 punch of power couple, producing, directing talent. Because I think Debbie, I honestly think Debbie had a good say in this as well. They decided to take that concept and change it so that it was disassociated with the Star Wars IP. No lightsabers, no Jedi, no Sith. But he decided to make it its own IP and very deliberately talked about the Star Wars pitch. So this is what's interesting about this. From the jump, what he said was, this was a project I pitched as a Star Wars movie. Lucasfilm didn't want it, and so now I'm essentially going to go do it on my own. Now, I think that in and of itself is really brilliant. Because as you know, the Star Wars fandom, at the very least, frustrated with, let's say, the variance in quality of the different Star Wars projects. There hasn't been a Star Wars movie since the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score Star Wars movie of all time, in the rise of Stinkwalker. And so the Star Wars fan base is like looking for good Star Wars. And along comes Zack Snyder, who says, I'm going to go make a Star Wars movie without Lucasfilm, which honestly is like a dub. I think that's a W. So that's sort of the genesis of the idea, which already had me. I was like, that's so brilliant. That's so interesting. That's so cool. Well, as far as how deep the lore and the franchise ability of Rebel Moon is concerned, it's pretty massive. And so I wanted to talk about a couple of things that Zach was saying. This first one, to an RPG video game that is coming out for Rebel Moon.
Really good time with is, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but this RPG that we're doing that is just literally insane and so immersive and so intense and so huge. And like we talked about how we would do the game, and I was like, we just said let's go. I was like, not.
Is it going to be? So what kind of game?
I don't want to do a casual. I'm not going to say. I'm only going to say this.
Not mobile. It's mobile.
There's good. There's more coming, but all I'll say is that like we thought we were going to do. It was pitched to me because I've always wanted to do an RPG, and I was like, okay, but like they were like, well, we could do it at this scale, right? Kind of this scale. I don't know if that's a scale, or we can do it at like ridiculous scale. I was like, well, ridiculous scale is clearly a scale that we can do.
That's the scale to go for.
And they were like, well, it's going to take so much time because you got to we got to do all these brain dumps. You've got to tell us everything in the universe, what's happening, the giant. And I was like, fine, I'm happy to do it. Let's go.
Okay. So a couple of interesting things going on there. First of all, he's not even really supposed to be talking about this thing. But the main thing, and the reason this has me so excited, and there's more too, because apparently they're doing a graphic novel and perhaps an animated short as well. I'll look for that to verify that in just a second. But here's the main reason why this is so damn cool. When he's saying that the scale of the game is going to be massive, and when he's talking about how the developers are like, okay, but that's going to take a lot of time. Like, you're going to need to do brain dumps. You're going to need to essentially give us all the lore, because for the RPG to be that big in scale, it has to be consistent with the world that you're creating. And what Zach is essentially saying in the interview is that that's not going to be a problem, because this isn't just a sci-fi movie where you have some things figured out and then there's a lot of stuff left to the imagination, maybe even ambiguous from his perspective. This is like a living and breathing world that he has established a ton of lore and world building for, okay? And I think one of the other reasons that this speaks to me personally is because I'm in the process of working on my comic book. There's another big, my Star Wars. This just resonates with me so much because I have my Star Wars, which I'm starting to build. I'm already working with one of my old comic book artists, and he and I are we're shaping it. And I have all this world building already. So we were emailing each other back and forth over the weekend, and he was like, okay, but what about this? I'm confused about this. And I was like, well, to be honest, dude, I was just giving you the piecemeal stuff so that you could figure it out. Here's what it is. And I went deep because I have already thought and lived in this world in my mind a lot, right? And so again, to me, Rebel Moon is being built not just as a streaming sci-fi channel level science fiction story, but it is this guy, this brand, this creator, Zack Snyder, making his Star Wars wholly and truly. And it's fascinating because Star Wars itself, particularly under Disney, maybe minus Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, has absolutely fumbled how to use the video game medium to tell these stories, to enhance the lore of the world. It used to be the case that Star Wars video games were where a lot of that shit went down, dude. like a lot of not just awesome, fun Star Wars stuff, but lore building stuff that would fit it canonically into novels and graphic novels. And they would do all of this on their own, like the creators. This was before, Disney, and before like George really would approve things, but he wasn't saying like, hey, let's build this all together. The creators did that themselves, right? And so for him to like say this and reveal this about Rebel Moon, it signals like, no, it's just not a movie. It's an incredible, crazy world that he's building with a lot of lore and fun. And he's literally doing the things that Star Wars fucked up in the last couple of years, because they haven't done a great job of that. And their novels don't tie into their shit. Their comic books feel so weirdly different than the movies themselves, right? And I think that's because, it's obviously Disney, it's corpo, it's like on a conveyor belt product type of mentality. And I think, like, genuinely, like, all jokes aside, I have personally been craving that sort of pure creative energy, that pure world building energy that I think George Lucas really embodied. He was a capitalist. He, of course, knew about merchandising and figuring that out. But the more I think about Disney Star Wars making the fucking dish on the Millennium Falcon square, giving C-3PO a red arm, and all this horse shit to try to commoditize the brand further, I think we're currently at a place where people are thirsty for like the real shit. And I'm going to call it right now, just like I called and continue to call the $1 billion grossing D&D movie, which, don't worry, it's on my notes. We're getting there. I'm going to call Rebel Moon once again as being this generation's Star Wars, perhaps being an IP that rivals Star Wars, Marvel, Game of Thrones, all of it. Thoughts? Chat? Everybody want to admit now that I'm right, or we want to admit later that I'm right? What do you think? What do you think? I guess I should look at the chat to see what you guys are saying. Agreed. We desperately need it. Let's do it. No chance, says Chase me. Ooh, I just literally... You got me so mad. I broke my pen, Chase. I hope you're happy. D&D not touching close to a Billy. Oh, shit. Well, we're going to get right into that in a second here. I told you it was going to be spicy today. I told you it was going to be spicy today. Are you not entertained? Okay, so how about this? Let's make this as a deal. If Rebel Moon blows up, you all have to shave your heads. What do you think about that? If Rebel Moon blows up, you all have to shave your head. I'm already bald. Oh, there you go. I'll shave my head. Yep, you're already bald. So I see some of you being like, what would that look like? Or like, what would that, how would that happen? Okay, so let me explain. This is what it will look like. Not what it could look like. This is what it will look like, motherfuckers. Oh, I'm so fired up. Here's what it's going to look like. Mainstream media articles saying in the title, did Rebel Moon just out Star Wars Star Wars? Rebel Moon, this generation Star Wars, question mark? Should Star Wars worry about Rebel Moon? Okay? That's what partially it would look like. It would look like Netflix saying, this is the most popular original movie we've ever had. Here's the numbers. It's ridiculous. Okay? The Rebel Moon game, comics, animated short, massive numbers. Oh my God. How much did that Rebel Moon RPG sell? Boom. Like, we have ways to quantify what success at the level of Star Wars would feel like. That's what it will look like. Is it going to spend any time in theaters? That's actually a good question. I don't know. Maybe they should do what they did with Glass Onion, which, by the way, is so weird. I loved Glass Onion, but it did not do a lot of views. Definitely don't think it did the views they were hoping for over there. Zach is making a game or a movie? What the fuck, Ben? Did you just arrive? Did you just walk into the tower and now you want me to clarify every goddamn thing? You came in the middle of the movie and you're asking about the plot? Sheesh. Sheesh. I actually loved Chronicles of Riddick. Dude, Chronicles of Riddick was awesome. You said RPG. Yes. So there's somebody we don't know, a developer, is working on a massive RPG based in the Rebel Moon universe. All we know for sure is that Zach is helping them with the lore aspect. Let me see if I can find the stuff about the graphic novel and whatnot, too. Rebel Moon sequels, animation, graphic novel, and game. That's crazy. Yeah, RPG Rebel Moon in the works. Traveling internationally to market the film. An animated short will be released. A graphic novel will be released. Pretty crazy, dude. Pretty crazy. So, look, I'm super hyped up for Rebel Moon. We'll check back in with it as we get a little bit closer and we see how the hype is building. But I just wanted to call it like I sees it. Okay. Want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons? Y'all want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons? Yo, some of y'all are so wild. So let me perhaps... No? Well, fuck are you then, Echo? Leave the stream on and leave the room. In fact, open it up on a couple more monitors. Holy shit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the D&D movie. Here we go. Like I told you guys a long time ago, the Dungeons and Dragons movie is uniquely positioned to be a billion-dollar movie and be incredibly massive for the franchise of Dungeons and Dragons. I've been calling for a while that the movie would make that much money and be massive in success. Now, there was arguably a little bit of a blip along the way because, of course, well, maybe you know about this, maybe you don't. But there's massive controversy with Dungeons & Dragons, basically because of Hasbro. Hasbro, of course, owning Dungeons & Dragons. And this all had to do with the open gaming license, okay? So this is kind of sweaty stuff here. But essentially, they were being super greedy. It blew up with a ton of people covering it. It sort of went outside the vertical where, like, just social commentators and news people were talking about it. It was a really bad look for them. Now, in a strange turns of events, they've backed off on that completely, which was crazy because I didn't think they would. So they backed off completely on this super greedy change they're going to make to the OGL. So, crisis averted for that. The movie is so good, and the studio knows the movie is so good, they're doing special screenings of it. They're playing it at South by Southwest. And I just want to pull up now, and you can do this yourself. All I did was go into the search bar and type in Dungeons and Dragons. And we'll just scroll through here. I'm gonna break this pen again. Some of y'all be hating. And you can't accept that once again, I'm calling it. Sheesh. I've literally never been wrong. Maybe a couple times. Maybe once. So here we go. Let's look at this. The Hollywood Handle says, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves is fantastic. A film full of heart and soul. Perfectly pitched humor, gorgeous cinematography, easily the best movie of the year so far, with stunning visuals and more than incredible casting. Stay for the credits. Boner! This guy says, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves, the wonderful thing about role-playing with friends is that it's both deeply silly and deadly serious. The wonderful thing about Honor Among Thieves is that the filmmakers understand that balance from start to finish. Pretty positive. Steve Frosty Weintraub. Dungeons & Dragons is awesome. It's super fun, very funny, and loaded with action set pieces that are both inventive, well-staged, and look great. Also, Chris Pine sings, and Hacked Off Hugh, who's this? Is perfect. Huge recommend. Okay, pretty positive. These are the type of reviews here. I'm about to read this one. This is really what I think is going to make the difference and really jettison the movie towards $1 billion. I've never played Dungeons & Dragons and don't know much about it. But even without that level of appreciation, the movie still works so well. I loved it. It's just a strong story, lots of humor, heart, action, and imagination. Very propulsive, too. Make 100 more. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm just going to read a few more because you guys are being real buttholes about it. Everybody's like, watch the Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor. Fine. I'll move on and I'll watch the Jedi Survivor thing when everybody admits that I'm right and that it's going to be a huge franchise. $1 billion. Just tell me that I'm right and we'll move on. Eric Davis says, the new Dungeons & Dragons movie is a whole lot of fun. Once you settle into the world, it turns into one of the most entertaining fantasy films I've seen in a while. Great characters, wild quests, crazy creatures, and very funny. Big recommend from me. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Where's that thing? Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is a hoot. I could never recap the plot on the fly, but it wholeheartedly embraced its weird fantasy comedy tone. Please note that I have never played D&D in my life, but I still had a great time. Again, that's what's going to work. So what's going to push this over the top? And I don't see the Jedi Survivor bullshit. What's going to push this over the top? Literally just incredibly strong word of mouth. I feel like it's going to be similar to Top Gun Maverick. Yo, low-key, Top Gun Maverick is like, you know, it's decent, but it's not like incredible. It's a great experience. It's really fun to watch in the theater. But that movie just made money and money and money. And it just kept going. And it proved that there's still a huge market of people that just want to go to the cinema and have a good time. That's it. No messaging, no bullshit, no shared universes, which again kind of hurts me to say because I love that kind of shit. But the reality is that movie made more than all the Marvel movies last year. People are still willing to show up in troves to just have a really good time in the theater. That's what this movie's going to be. So, again, it's going to make $1 billion. We'll talk about it once it happens, and you guys will all be wrong, and I'll be right once again. It's going to be really, really fun. Okay. So where's this Jedi Survivor bullshit? Where's it at? Is it on YouTube? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? It's not on YouTube? It is on YouTube. Holy crap, guys. Can we get it together? Can we get on the same page today? Okay. Jedi Survivor. 3 months ago. What channel is it on, guys? What YouTube channel? Bro, just type in Jedi Survivor. Ever used the internet before? God damn it, Jake! I literally typed in Jedi Survivor. You know what I got? 3 months old video. 1 month old video. 22 minutes ago, here it is, like I said. Hey, we're having a good time. You know what I mean? We're having a good time. Okay, let's get this pulled up. Wait, what the fuck? All right, ready? By the way, bye-bye all the ad revenue for this stream, because they're definitely going to fucking claim this shit now, but fuck it. I'll do it for you guys, even though you guys are all mean and stuff. Hang on. Hang on. I need this to be at a high quality. I want this to be at high quality.
It's been a long 5 years.
Dude, why is it like glitching? Like, why am I having trouble playing this?
We've tried to resist. Fear and mistrust rule the galaxy.
Hang on, let me try to figure this out. This is crazy. Like, I've been having trouble. I think it's actually Brave. Let me see here. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. Let's try. Let's try this. See if that's better.
We've tried to resist. Fear and mistrust.
Little frog
rule the
person?
galaxy.
Don't you dare kill that frog person. Ooh.
Cal, look into the fire. It will warm you, keep you company. But left unchecked, it will consume everything. Until there is only ash.
How could you let the galaxy fall to this unworthy machine of an empire?
Interesting.
Hope may feel beyond our grasp. But I think we finally found somewhere the Empire can't reach us.
Ooh.
Imagine. No more looking over your shoulder.
Dude.
A place that's worth fighting for. No matter the cost.
Whoa. Okay, so that was pretty cool, but it kind of made me think when he said that.
A place that's worth fighting.
A place that's worth fighting for, no matter what the cost. What if this connects to the New Beyond? Wouldn't that be wild? Dang, that's pretty interesting, man. I would definitely not mind that shit. In fact, I think as much Star Wars shit as you can, just shove over into the New Beyond. Basically, get it away from like the sequel trilogy stuff, you know? So, man, that would be fascinating. I'd love to see that. What if Cal Kestis shows up in Skeleton Crew? Wow, dude, that would be nuts. The game looks super fun, of course. I personally hope it's just a polished version of what we got before. I really like Fallen Order. There's a lot of shit in Fallen Order I did not like. I thought that the platforming was goofy and not really good as far as from a mechanical perspective. The fighting was on point. It's a fun game. It's not necessarily as big or in depth as I think it could be, but it's the best Star Wars game we've had in a long time. So it's awesome that we're getting it. When does it come out? You probably say on the end here, huh? When does it drop? Because I know they delayed it. Right? April 28th. Damn. Okay, so that's right around the corner. That's cool. Nice. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Chet, what are you doing? Okay, so that's cool, man. Yeah, it looks good. Good little trailer. Good little trailer there. Let me see if there's something else I wanted to go over. Oh, okay, there's only just one more thing I wanted to talk about. And it's really kind of a minor thing, so I'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll get into Q&A. We'll go over the super chats. We'll go over member chats. We'll hang in the chat for a little bit as well, okay? The only other thing I wanted to talk about was Blade. And apparently, Blade, the script... so, you know, we talked about a couple of weeks ago that Jeff Snyder had a big statement about the Marvels and Blade. And he kind of talked about how, like, Blade was a mess. Mahershala Ali was like, nah, fam. And a similar thing was going on with Captain Marvel. Well, it's a good thing he was not reliable that week, right? But the week later, when he was reliable, when everybody was talking about his Mephisto story, one of the things he mentioned in that stream on Friday was that some people reached out to him and said that Blade is actually doing much better. And that the Blade script is looking really, really cool. But one of the things they're probably going to lose is a lot of the Dane Whitman stuff. So a lot of the Black Knight stuff probably not going to be in there so much. But yeah, a lot of good stuff happening for Blade, and I just wanted to throw that out there because I know we're going through a time right now with Marvel where it seems like there's a lot of negative headlines and a lot of stuff to worry about. But the Blade movie itself probably going to be reworked in a really satisfactory way, and I hope it's dope and I hope it's fire. And by the way, just so everybody's clear, I believe Jeff when it comes to the Marvels. But I ultimately hope that they make it much better. I'm going to check out the Marvels in November. And if it's decent to good, I'll sing its praises. And I'm really hoping that whatever they're doing right now with the tone changes, perhaps changing the ending or whatever, I want a satisfactory, awesome Marvel film. I really don't want, and I won't revel in a shitty The Marvels. That's very bad for the MCU and comic book movie genre in general. So, just wanted to put that out there when it comes to Blade and when it comes to the Marvels. Okay. Let's get in to the Q's and to the A's. I'll be going over the super chats, the member chats. We'll hang out in the chat as well. And then we'll see if there's anything else going on. Anything else crazy going on in the world. We'll take a look-sees. We'll take a peek. Okay, first in today was Golden Hercules says, had a great weekend. Saw Toby Mac Saturday night. And St. Louis City SC made history with our 4 wins to start their first season, and now it's nerdy time. Nerd Vengers for life. What is that? SC. What is that a sports ball thing? Either way, I'm glad you had a good weekend, brother. Thanks for the support. Scott Owen says, out of all comic movies this year, I bought tickets for Shazam Top 2, and I'm happy about it. Sometimes it's want to enjoy a movie. Yeah, look, some people were saying, and by the way, I kind of always get these comments of people, like when I said, I was like, dude, Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of having a really rough time in the box office, really bad drop-offs. And then people would be like, I liked the movie. And I'm like, that's great. Like, that's cool, man. Like, Bob's your uncle. But what does that have to do with anything? Like, you liked it. Cool. It's still bombing worse than the living meme Morbius, right? So it's not a rebuttal to be like, I liked it. I get that you liked it. I'm glad that you liked it. But what are we talking about? Chibawee says, Blade set in the 1920s is perfect. Having him go on an epic solo journey without it affecting the current MCU. What if Blade used the Ebony Blade first? That would be kind of interesting. I think the movie's still going to do a little lone wolf and cub, like Mando thing with like a young girl, which will also be interesting. And I think it'll be in the 1920s for a bit, but also like in modern times as well. That's what I think is going to happen. John Cross says, I want Justin and Volk at 155. That would be incredible. I got to tell you, though, I think Volk might be one of the only fighters on the planet that could actually... that's like legitimately stronger and more durable than Justin. I mean, everybody thought Makachev was the boogeyman. Volk made him look mortal. Volk won that fight, by the way. Blinded Fate says, good morning, Josh. I see a lot of behind-the-scenes shots of Daredevil Born Again. Has me crazy excited. Prediction for the show. Val sends John Walker to recruit Frank Castle. That would be really fun. I would like that as a tie-in. And I, too, am really excited about Daredevil. I'm actually going to work on a video breaking down this whole... because there's like a lot of fun stuff going on with Daredevil. And I think it's going to be very different than a lot of the other MCU shows, which is a very welcome change. So I'm with you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. The real Jesse Lee Reed says, bro, UFC is not nerdy shit. It is, in fact, the polar opposite of nerdy shit. I know. What do you want from me? I'm trying to strike a balance here. Some people want me to talk about it. Some people don't. Holy crap. Thanks for the love, man. Stuart says, it's bombing because too much change and the uncertainty of the future. I only care about The Flash because of Keaton. If he wasn't in it, I would have zero interest for that one, too. So, Stuart, first of all, thank you for the 10. Yeah, I get it, man. Here's my problem. Keaton's not doing anything else. Keaton's not even the Batman at the end of the movie now. It's Clooney. Sorry, spoiled it for you. Who gives a shit? Clooney is going to be the Batman at the end of the film. So, although it's cool, and I am too excited to see Michael Keaton Batman, there's no rush for me to see it. Because it's not leading into anything. So, in the old plan, there was at least an inherent draw to the film because it was setting up things relevant to the future. Now, that's gone. So, I hear you. I'm just going to wait for streaming or Sail the Seven Seas. The real Jesse Lee Reed says Shazam 1 and 2 suck because Levi plays it like Tom Hanks in Big. Childish. They forgot that Shazam is an acronym and left out the wisdom of Solomon. Yeah, and the kid's more mature. And that was true in the first movie also. The kid is literally more mature than Zachary Levi. Like, why is Zachary Levi acting like a goofball, total jerk-off kid, and then the kid himself, Billy Batson, doesn't act like that? It is weird, for sure. Kendall says, no fatigue, just weak movies. DC bin cheeks. That's another part of it, too, is like DC as a brand has just put out so much shit over the past couple of years. It's also like, why would... Yeah, like, I think that's a part of it, for sure. Trev says, audience has matured. MCU started 15 years ago. 8-year-olds are 23 now. They want darker tone. DC from 8 years ago would have worked better now. I actually agree with that. And I think that's something that studios are not realizing. It's like, you can't just do what worked 10, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. The world is different. Audiences have matured. And that's why I think, like, you go for the bigger stuff. To be fair, Marvel is doing that, at least with part of their projects, like President Red Hulk, Sentry. These are crazy ideas. They're very big. But they're still doing Wonder Man. Wonder Man? But yeah. We'll, of course, see how it all shakes out. Scott Owen says, studios don't have drive. Like, they used to make blockbusters like the early 2000s. They made statements, DC and Marvel. I 100% agree with you. I think that was a part of it. That's what they were trying to prove. Now it feels like everything's kind of piecemealed out, and particularly with Marvel, it feels like they've taken for granted how locked in the audience is. Like, they essentially said, we could still put out a bunch of stuff that's not must watch, and a lot of people will watch it because we're that big, and everything has been must watch for a long, long time. That's a huge problem with Marvel. By the way, I have a massive video coming out about that, on how I would fix the MCU. I go over a lot of the things that other people are saying is wrong with the MCU. I debunk it, talk about how it's not true, and then I talk about the actual problems, right? So look out for that, probably today. Scott Owen says, studios don't... Oh, we just went over that. Renee says, is it possible that movies have converted normies to sweaties who read comics now, that you can't get away with crappy movies and writing? I think that's... Yes, there's like... I'm like kind of feeling that too. I don't know if they're reading comics, but I would argue they're way more locked in and checked into nerd culture. So, whereas, 10 years ago, like, honestly, I feel like 10 years ago, the idea of seeing a Batman movie was just as weird and ridiculous as seeing an Iron Man movie, as was seeing a Captain America movie. It all seemed kind of ridiculous and silly, and yet there was a bridge that was there that took audiences to understand the coolness of the characters and how those types of... Because I remember dragging my buddies to see Batman Begins. And then being like, comic book movie, I remember dragging people to go see Captain America, the First Avenger and stuff like that. But I think that something happened where fans now are not going to take it, like they're not going to look at a property and see it through the lens of, oh, that's a comic book character. They're going to view it through the lens of like, is that a dope character or not? So I think a lot of people have that kind of feeling, by the way. Thanks, Renee. Meister420 says, honestly, I feel like sweaties don't even care about Shazam that much. So why would normies if sweaties don't? I know I don't consider myself sweaty. Yeah, dude, 100%. I think that is a huge part of it. Elijah says, the den of watching all our childhood IPs burn to the ground. Lucky for us, after a massive forest fire, the ground is fertilized and new life can grow. Absolutely, dude. I think that's totally fair. And it's not like all like that, but it does feel like the major studios and the major properties like DC, Star Wars, Marvel, it does feel like we're going through a weird time right now. And it's not good, you know, which again is why Rebel Moon is going to blow up. Representative Binks says, I like how they focus on Shazam family, but not the Bat family. Bro, facts. What are they doing? To be fair, James Gunn looks to be correcting that with an established Bat family in Brave and the Bold. So yeah, I mean, like, he at least gets that, but you're absolutely right. Did you see Campia talking about how Grant Gustin taking over as Flash in the DCU? I would love this. CW show went to shit, but Grant has always been amazing. Take my money! 2 years at Prime next month. Damn, dude. Thank you so much, Finto. I appreciate it. I have heard this rumor. I would like it if it were true. I don't know that it's true. John Campia has also said for I think the last 3 or 4 MCU movies that he's seen pictures from behind the scenes that are absolutely mind-blowing. Holy shit, when you see this, you're going to lose your mind. And I ain't seen nothing like that. So I just don't know when it comes to Campia anymore. You know, I just really don't. Chris Listenfeld with a 10 spot says, majority of general movie-going audience doesn't even know the difference between Marvel and DC. Fair. Black Adam and Ant-Man were bad, and Shazam looked bad. It's not comic book fatigue, it's mediocrity fatigue. I think there's something to that. I think there is absolutely something to that. I agree with you. H. Chris says with a 10 spot, here's my Flash money. Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate you. Elijah follows up with another 10, says, what messages are we sending to Hollywood if they allow a main actor to beat women, they don't fire him, and then we go to pay to see the actor? What precedence does that set going forward? Yeah, I think that's fair. I also don't blame people, though, because like we live in a world where like it just feels like everything's so out there that you could probably draw a bead to any particular big project, whether it's a video game, movie, or even a book, and find some dirty laundry. Find some reason to be upset about one person that worked on it and why that sucks, right? So if people just want to go see a good movie and they don't want to worry about the drama, like, I get it. But I think when it comes to this movie, it's not just that. Like, that is certainly an element, but it's so much more. It's like Warner Brothers in general. Like, again, you literally have fans that want to hurt them. It's not even that they're, like, not going to support. It's that they want to use their energy to hurt them. Like, that's what it became. Daniel says, why not announce Gunverse after last 3 DCU movies? Yeah, that would have been pretty smart, huh? The Hangar Bay Dymo says, I laugh at people who I saw getting so mad at Miller for his bullcrap, yet so ready to support him by watching the movie. I don't care what you say, watching that movie is supporting him. Again, I just went over that. I understand it. I get it. I understand being very upset and passionate about it. I think the dude's a scumbag. I think Hollywood is full of weirdos. But the truth is, man, this is kind of where I'm at with it. I feel like almost every movie and everything that comes out of Hollywood is attached to and benefiting some of the worst human beings on the planet. And I am not ready to forego my personal enjoyment to try to like affect and hurt all of these people and all of these different things, right? So I'm at a place where I'm like, well, I still want to enjoy shit. Like, I can't be so... That's like the type of people that are so... like Greta Thunberg, right? Which, you know, God bless her. She's got her own opinions and feelings and she wants to make a statement or whatever. But, like, if you're getting in a rowboat, if you're walking around and you're adding like 40% to the time of travel just so you don't use like greenhouse gases and shit like that. Like, again, that's your prerogative, but I'm going to drive. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to drive. I'm going to take the plane. So, you know, your decision as to how far you take all of that sort of stuff. I'm just at a place where I'm like, well, I just want to enjoy shit, you know? Metal X says, so much love, bro. I think they let Tom see it because they need some positive hype surrounding the movie. And as far as Marvel goes, they need help. True. Marvel also has a lot of really cool stuff on the horizon. I think they're going to be okay. But it's absolutely a weird moment. I think you're right about Tom Cruise. Comics Man says, the Flash looks so bad on every level. Is it just me? Yeah, man, it's just you. Maybe a few others. It looks incredible. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. It looks incredible. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. It does. It looks fucking incredible. And we already did the shout out to Sam, the wife, but I appreciate it. The Tommy Dean says, I'm totally going to be doing a 150-person screening for The Flash privately for free. F Warner Bros. Go watch horror movies. I don't like horror movies. But I appreciate the insight, Tommy. Thanks for the support, man. Reed says, you got to catch up on My Hero Academia, my guy. Season 6 has been absolute fire. Yeah, I've heard that from a couple of different people. Maybe I'll get caught up on it soon. The Hangar Bay Daimo says, although I stand by my opinion that Rebel Moon can only be knockoff serial brand Star Wars, I do believe he will do all the things Star Wars needs. Interesting take. I understand where you're coming from. I feel the same. I guess for me, I see this thing being galvanized. You've got a lot of burnt DC fans. You got a lot of burnt Star Wars fans. I feel like this could be a perfect storm to set Rebel Moon up for some massive success. But I hear you. Perez, Tipsy Vader, says, you hear the rumor about Punisher in Armor Wars? Nah, where's it coming from? Send me the rumor, because that sounds hype, bro. Sounds hype as hell. Somebody send me that rumor. Punisher in Armor Wars? I'll be seeing The Flash in Times Square in a 4D theater. That sounds cool. I don't love the 4D stuff, though. Gotta be real. It's a little too much. Vandolph the Black says, video game? Damn, I was wrong about Snyder. That's a big W. World building IP? I'm excited for the Netflix show. Anything is possible now. Great move. Green Bay boy, Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the win. Thanks. WotC Backlash hurt D&D. No billion, bro. Sorry. We'll see. I think they walked back on that. But, you know, maybe. I could be wrong. I mean, it's only happened a couple of times. I've been wrong like a little bit. Galliot Production says Mario will crush D&D like James Gunn crushed you on Twitter. I doubt that. Although, to be fair, the Mario movie does look super fun. Like, it does look really, really good. I wonder what it's tracking for, though. And we'll know a little bit more in a little bit when we get the sort of long projections for D&D. And I'm telling you, I think what it needs is like a $300 to $400 million opening global weekend. And then it just needs strong word of mouth that carries through. That's what it needs. So we'll just see. How long to get into the lounge? Mikkel, you're in. You're 6 months. You're good. You're in. We'll go on Friday night, man. Hit somebody up on Discord. Darth Radier says, Josh is spicy today, spraying hot sauce around the tower. Remember, your proper safety eyewear today, folks. Yes, it's true. Although that warning came in a little bit late. Jack Della Solo says, how is the best Marvel movie of 2023 coming from head of a rivaling studio? Keep killing it. Leaker King, Nerd Avengers for life. Get me a Prime membership. Hey, I appreciate it, Jack. Really do. And yeah, that is kind of an odd circumstance, right? It is kind of an odd circumstance. But I want Guardians 3 to be really good, so I'm rooting for him. Chiboui says, hot take, MCU should have gone with a Hell saga instead of a multiverse saga. Make the big bad Dormammu or Mephisto and Strange the main focus. I mean, I think that could be really cool. I don't know if it's enough to necessarily carry a whole phase, though. And I think once we get to the Kang Dynasty and that movie's over, and then we get like the Battle World saga, I think many people will like see the vision for why they wanted to do Secret Wars and why the multiverse is a good idea. I feel like the truth is the multiverse thus far has been used very sparingly, and yet it's still attached to all the most successful Marvel projects in Phase 4, like Loki, No Way Home, Multiverse Madness. Like, you can't argue they are the most successful out of all of the shows and movies. And they're all multiverse, right? So, again, I just really think once we get to Battle World, you'll get it. You'll be like, damn, okay. Because you can't do none of that in the Hell saga. I hope they didn't put so much of scientist guy in Mando season 3 for representation. I hope the woke crowds know that Bollywood Indian people are good. It's just, so that's kind of interesting that you say that. I just didn't view that as woke or representation at all. This is a character that's established in the past. I did see a lot of people taking issue with that. And like, I don't know, bro. I guess I'm just at a place where I'm like, I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, the dude was cast. I think he performs well in the role. I think the character's interesting enough because it's really associated with like Grogu and the mystery behind Grogu and like what is the Emperor actually doing. So like, to me, it's like not that deep, you know? Nerd Executive says, look, I get it. I really do. But what has Warner Brothers done to make people think they are going to do Keaton justice? The trailer. I mean, the trailer looks pretty good. Eric Jenkins with a very generous $20 hauler says, my girlfriend asked if I like ASMR. I said, thank you so much for that. Quote of the day. Mike Toast says, really enjoyed Shazam 2. I feel like if Warner Brothers took the action from Black Adam and the emotional story of Shazam 2, they'd make a better movie than both. Interesting take. Really interesting take. And maybe you're right, man. I mean, I think all of us are like, why aren't they like, doing that together? Brandon Voss says, Stinkleen Kennedy. Ah, man, that's rude. But also true, she's stinky. Jason says, after seeing D&D movie yesterday, I agree it's going to hit a billy. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He saw the movie. He agrees it's going to make a billy. Second week will top first. Third week, top second. Word of mouth will be huge. It was good in ways I wasn't expecting. Review coming. My man. Dennis, welcome to the Nerd Vengers at the Prime level, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Prez says, what happened to the MCU doing mini arcs? Wasn't that supposed to be something? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing? I'm not sure what you mean by mini arcs. What does that mean, bro? Andre, I believe they're doing at least another sequel, possibly a trilogy, but I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. I don't know if it's been confirmed. So, but what else is going on, man? Let's hang out in the chat a little bit. What's going on? Diamond Figs with a very generous $10 holla says, comic book movie studios seem to think their audience are aging backwards. MCU started with Iron Man. DC was revived with the Nolan films 10 years later, and we have She-Hulk / Shazam. Are we all one big Benjamin Button? That's a fair take. And I think, like, look, here's the thing. I think Marvel is aware of this. I think they're pushing the serious tone next year with Daredevil. I think they're pushing the tone with Thunderbolts and New World Order. I think Blade might even end up being rated R or something close to it. So I think they're aware of it. The problem is, though, I do think that humor is a part of the Marvel formula, but I think it's just gotten to be too much. You know, like, again, I talk about this in the video I have coming out today about the how to fix the MCU. It's like, I don't mind the humor. But when there's nothing of substance or actual tension, like Winter Soldier is a great example. There's a lot of funny moments in Winter Soldier. Like, a lot. but the tension holds. It's a tense movie. You know? Like Love and Thunder was like such a ridiculous, goofy ass, crazy shit. Like, dude, she's plucky about having terminal cancer. Holy shit. Like, seriously. Wow. It was horrible. Yeah, again, Civil War. Great amount of humor. Did you watch The Last of Us? No, I did not. No, I did not, and I never will. I'm glad it's doing well, though. I'm glad it's a successful movie. But, hell no. Hell no. Have you ever seen Vinland Saga? I have, and it's pretty freaking dope. Also, how does she not know how many stages of cancer there are? To get a joke in there. Why won't you watch it? Oh, well, just I'm not interested. I did give it a shot, the first episode, and didn't like it, so. Yeah, Riley, no problem. Cancer patients deal with grief differently. I mean, sure. Sure. Does that defend what they did in the film? Like, I just don't think so. What did I think of the Poet Anderson short? So I did finally check it out, Angel, but I haven't finished it. So I can't speak for sure. Did you play the game? I did not. The Last of Us is amazing. Best show out right now. Well, isn't it over? Or the first season or whatever? You should do a tier list of everything you hate. Yeah. Maybe I should. Going to Horror Hound in Cincinnati to meet Bruce Campbell this weekend coming up. Missing the Evil Dead 3 on Thursday. Not going to meet him. So excited. Have any questions? No, I don't have any questions. But that sounds dope. Hate list. Hate list. I can't wait to see how they do Joel in season 2. Oh, you mean like with the golf club? All recovery from grief is unique. Sure. Sure. I just still don't think that makes any fucking sense to put into that movie the way that it was done. Like, let me explain something else that might blow your fucking balls off. Did you know that normal humans don't actually speak in dialogue? Like, did you ever notice that dialogue in a movie or a show isn't the way normal motherfuckers speak? Wow. So my point is, you can't say, oh, well, this real life thing is analogous to why they put it into the goddamn movie. Holy shit. If the MCU brings in Doom, they will fix the entire thing. I mean, it's going to be a huge, huge feather in their cap. Of course, depending upon how they handle it. But yeah. Movies aren't real? Jesus. Okay, thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. The MCU needs the X-Men. I agree. I agree. I think they're going to save Doom for Phase 7. Possibly. Possibly. I think Phase 7, by the way, may well end up being that Battle World Saga. So I'm kind of interested to see how that will play. They could be doing some really wild stuff. What is CBM? Comic book movies. Did I see the AI President's Star Wars tier list? No. Oh my God. Is it great? Is it really good? Because I love those videos with like Trump, Biden, and Obama. They are so funny. Right on, Mantis. I'm hitting the gym myself today, man. I'm pretty excited about it. What's my Marvel Snap collection these days? I think it's like 6,000. I am really not playing Snap like I used to, though. I'm so busy. I have so much going on, which is actually why I do have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. because I have so much going on today. So, yeah. Don't leave. I literally have to. Like, I literally have to. Yeah. Live stream your workout? Psh, nah, man. It's like one of my it's one of my happy places. That's one of my places where I get to like chill and not be triggered by chat. So that then I can more easily be triggered by chat later. I actually do, John, I actually agree that it is probably just because they already have this plan, they already have this thing, and I think they really thought they could just get away with it. Like, I really think they think they can just get away with it. And be like, if I get, they'll wait. Gabe, I have no idea, brother. I'm not lifting, like, I'm lifting, like, heavy, but I'm not lifting, like, heavy like that. I have bad tendons and ligaments. So I'm really, this always happens to me when I start getting into like pretty good shape. I always hit this point where I push it just a little bit too far and I injure myself and then I lose all that progress. So I'm really trying to just slowly and patiently build my strength up. And it's really like, it's not the muscles, it's the ligaments. I need these ligaments to be strong. So I'm not really lifting like that yet. Want some joint pain subs? Of course. There's actually a peptide that I'm looking into getting on that'll help with that stuff too. For sure. Not bad on the snorting today. Good job, Josh. Thank you, Mr. Poppy. See, I knew we could get along. Calling it right now. Josh is getting shredded for a shirtless MCU scene he keeps under wraps. I don't know about that. But maybe they'll give me the scene after I get shredded. You know what I mean? Hey, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Take Tren. If it didn't like destroy you mentally and physically, I would do it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. What a good Monday stream. You know? Keeping it chill, a lot of nuanced discussion. Definitely not being super toxic and raging. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad that we've all decided not to see The Flash. I know it's going to be hard for some of us, but it's the right thing to do. Fuck 'em! As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Give us Nerdcoin? What is this, the Nerdcoin for free bank? God. All right, I don't know about that one. That was not my finest zinger. I'll give everybody that's here right now 3,000, and then let's do another 3,000. So don't say that I never did nothing for you. Oh, good day, good stream, good start to the week. Should be a really fun and spicy nerd theory as well. So I hope to see all of you there. Big video coming out today. Big videos coming out all week. Make sure you check out the shorts on the channel. They're really funny. If you want to relive some of the funny moments we have in streams, great way to do that. I appreciate you. Make sure you open up that third eye and wash out your stinky butt. Ah!